Emery burst through Grandma Rose's kitchen door, backpack sliding off one shoulder, sneakers squeaking against the checkered floor. Dark curls bounced with each step, and those bright hazel eyes sparkled behind round glasses that had slipped halfway down a freckled nose. The purple hoodie had collected exactly 3 new grass stains from the walkover, one from helping Mrs. Chen pick up her dropped groceries, another from rescuing a caterpillar from the sidewalk, and a third from rolling down the hill just because. "Grandma, I'm here for our Thursday adventure." Grandma Rose looked up from her mixing bowl, flour dusting her silver hair like fresh snow. Her kitchen smelled like cinnamon and vanilla, with something chocolatey bubbling on the stove. "Perfect timing, sunshine. I was just about to start my famous triple chocolate cookies." "Can I help?" The backpack dropped to the floor with a thud. "Of course. But first wash those hands. I saw you pet Mr. Wilson's dog on your way here." Grandma's eyes twinkled. She always seemed to know everything that happened on Maple Street, even when she wasn't looking out the window. At the sink, soap bubbles floated up like tiny rainbows. Through the window, the neighbor kids were playing tag in the park across the street. Their laughter carried on the spring breeze. "You know," Grandma said, cracking eggs into her bowl, "this recipe reminds me of a story from when I was about your age." "Really?" Clean hands reached for an apron hanging on the pantry door, the one with dancing cupcakes all over it. "Oh, yes. It was 1975, and my mother, your great-grandmother, had just taught me her secret cooking recipe, the very same one we're making today." Grandma's wooden spoon moved in smooth circles through the batter. "I was so excited to have my very own special recipe that I decided to keep it all to myself." "What happened?" The measuring cups clinked as they came out of the drawer. "Well, that Saturday was the spring fair at school. Everyone brought something to share. Mrs. Patterson made her lemon squares, Tommy's mom brought fudge, and the Hendricks twins had sugar cookies shaped like butterflies. Grandma passed out a bag of chocolate chips, but when I arrived with my batch of triple chocolate cookies, I hid them in my backpack." "You hid them? But why?" "I thought if I shared the cookies, everyone would learn the secret recipe somehow. Silly, wasn't it?" Grandma chuckled, her laugh lines deepening. "So while everyone else set their treats on the sharing table, I kept mine hidden. I watched the other kids trading bites of different desserts, comparing whose mom made the best brownies, arguing whether oatmeal raisin cookies counted as healthy." The oven beeped, ready for their first batch. Together they spooned dough onto the baking sheet, each mound perfectly spaced. "The worst part," Grandma continued, sliding the tray into the oven, "was when my best friend Sarah asked if I brought anything. I lied and said I forgot. She shared half her cupcake with me anyway, strawberry with rainbow sprinkles, my favorite back then." That must have felt awful. The mixing bowl needed scraping, and a finger might have found its way to taste the leftover dough. It did. I sat there eating Sarah's cupcake while my cookies grew stale in my backpack. By the time I got home, I didn't even want them anymore. They tasted like selfishness. Grandma set the timer for 12 minutes. But here's where the story gets interesting. Outside, a cardinal landed on the bird feeder, its red feathers bright against the green leaves. The kitchen filled with the warm smell of baking chocolate. The next week, I felt so guilty that I made a double batch and brought them to school. No special occasion, just a regular Tuesday. I put them on the lunch table with a sign that said, "Please share." Grandma wiped her hands on her apron. You know what happened? "What?" 3 different kids asked for the recipe. And when I gave it to them, the real, actual secret recipe, something magical happened. Jenny's dad owned a bakery and suggested adding a pinch of sea salt. Marcus's grandmother from Jamaica said we should try adding nutmeg, and Sarah discovered that if you refrigerate the dough for an hour, the cookies come out even chewier. The timer dinged. Out came the first batch, golden brown and perfect. The chocolate chips still glistened, melty and inviting. "So the secret recipe got even better because you shared it?" "Exactly, and that's not even the best part." Grandma placed the cookies on a cooling rack. Every time someone made the cookies after that, they'd bring some to share. Our class became famous for having the best treats in the whole school. Teachers would mysteriously appear near our classroom during snack time. They worked on the second batch together, falling into an easy rhythm. Scoop, place, repeat. The spring afternoon light slanted through the window, making the kitchen feel like it was filled with honey. "But, Grandma," Emery said, carefully placing another dough ball on the fresh baking sheet, "what if someone had stolen your recipe and said it was theirs?" "Ah, that's a wise question." Grandma nodded approvingly. "You know what I learned? Recipes aren't really about keeping secrets. They're about creating memories. Every time those kids made the cookies, they remembered our friendship. When Jenny added her dad's sea salt tip, she was adding her own story to ours. That's how traditions grow. They're meant to be shared and changed and passed along." The doorbell rang just as they pulled the last batch from the oven. Through the kitchen window, 3 kids from down the street stood on the porch, holding a basketball. "Looks like the Patterson kids," Grandma observed. "Why don't you see what they need?" The door opened to reveal the 3 siblings, Maya, Jorge, and little Benny. Maya bounced the basketball impatiently. "Hey, we're trying to play 2-on-2, but we need one more person. Wanna come?" The warm cookies called from the kitchen, their chocolate smell drifting through the doorway. It would be so easy to say no, to stay inside and eat them all with Grandma. But then Grandma's story echoed in memory. "Actually," Emery said, glancing back at the cooling racks, "why don't you all come in for a minute? We just made cookies, and they're best when they're warm." Benny's eyes went wide. "Really? We can have some?" "Of course. Grandma always makes extra." The kitchen suddenly filled with voices and laughter. Maya helped pour glasses of milk, while Jorge carefully chose the cookie with the most chocolate chips. Benny got chocolate on his nose within the first bite. "These are amazing," Maya said, reaching for a second one. "What's in them?" Grandma winked from across the kitchen. "Emery knows the recipe. It's been in our family for generations." "Could you teach me?" Maya asked. "My mom's birthday is next week, and she loves chocolate." The cookie paused halfway to Emery's mouth. Here it was, the same choice Grandma had faced all those years ago. But really, it wasn't a choice at all. "Sure, but you have to promise to share them. That's the most important ingredient." "Deal." Maya grinned, chocolate smudging her smile. They spent the next 20 minutes writing down the recipe on one of Grandma's sunflower note cards. Jorge suggested adding peanut butter chips for people who like Reese's, and Benny wondered if you could make them into ice cream sandwiches. Each idea made the recipe grow, just like Grandma's had all those years ago. "We should probably get going," Maya finally said, checking the kitchen clock. "The courts close at sunset. You still coming?" "Definitely." The apron came off quickly, replaced by sneakers tied tight. "But wait, let's bring some cookies for whoever else is at the park." They packed a dozen cookies into a container, the kids chattering about forming a neighborhood baking club. Maybe they could take turns bringing treats to the basketball court. Jorge wanted to learn how to make his abuela's flan. Benny insisted he could make the best chocolate milk in the world, which counted as cooking. At the door, Grandma Rose pulled her grandchild into a quick hug. "You know," she said quietly, sharing those cookies just now, "you created a memory those kids will have forever. Someday they might tell their own grandchildren about the time their neighbors shared great-grandmother's secret cookie recipe." "And maybe they'll add their own ingredients, too." "That's how the best recipes survive, Sunshine. They grow with each person who makes them." The basketball game lasted until the streetlights came on. Between games, they shared cookies with 6 other kids who showed up to play. Each bite came with a story. How Maya once tried to make cookies without sugar, how Jorge accidentally used salt instead of sugar in brownies, how Benny wasn't allowed near the oven yet but was an expert at licking spoons. Walking home under the first stars, the empty cookie container swinging from one hand, something warm settled in Emery's chest. It wasn't just the exercise or the spring evening air. It was a feeling of Sarah's cupcake that Grandma had described. Except this time, it was the joy of being the one who shared. Back in Grandma's kitchen, they washed the dishes together, hands working in soapy water while Grandma hummed an old song. "You know what I realized today?" Emery said, drying a mixing bowl. "Keeping something special all to yourself doesn't make it more special. It kind of makes it less special. How so? Well, if I kept all the cookies, I would have eaten maybe 6 and felt sick. But by sharing them, I made 3 new friends, learned about Jorge's abuela's flan, and got invited to Maya's mom's birthday party next week. Plus, now more people know how to make happiness. I mean, cookies. Grandma laughed, her whole face lighting up. Happiness cookies? I like that. Maybe that's what we should call them from now on. And you know what else? When Maya makes them for her mom, and her mom loves them, that happiness spreads even more. It's like the dish towel paws mid-dry. It's like throwing a pebble in a pond. The ripples keep going and going. 50 years later, and you understood the lesson faster than I did, Grandma said, pulling her grandchild into another hug. Your great-grandmother would be so proud. She always said the best recipes weren't written in books. They were written on hearts. The kitchen was clean, the last of the sunset fading outside. Tomorrow would bring new adventures, but tonight held the perfect ending to a perfect Thursday. The cookie jar on the counter stood empty, which somehow felt exactly right. Same time next week? Grandma asked at the door. Wouldn't miss it. But maybe we should make a double batch. I have a feeling the basketball club is going to get bigger. Walking home, the spring air carried the scent of blooming jasmine and the distant sound of laughter from the park. The recipe card sat safely tucked in a pocket, but the real recipe, the one for sharing joy, was already memorized by heart. That night, lying in bed, Emery thought about all the cookies that would be baked because of today. Maya's batch for her mother, Jorge's attempt at adding peanut butter chips. Maybe even Benny would convince someone to help him make his first batch. Each cookie would carry a little bit of Grandma Rose's story, great-grandmother's recipe, and now Emery's own chapter about the basketball court sharing. The moon shone through the window, full and bright like a giant sugar cookie in the sky. Somewhere in the neighborhood, other kids were probably going to bed with chocolate-sweet dreams and plans for tomorrow's adventures. And in her house on Maple Street, Grandma Rose was probably writing in her journal, adding today's story to all the others she collected over the years. Some treasures were meant to be kept safe, but the best ones, the recipes, the stories, the laughter, the love, those were meant to be given away. Because just like Grandma's cookies, they somehow multiply when shared, becoming sweeter and richer with each passing hand. The cookie jar would be filled again next Thursday, but it would also be emptied again, and that was the most delicious part of all.